very much everyone for joining our webinar. We're very happy to be launching our Performance Cloud Servers today. Of course, this is a great new step for SherWeb. I'm Majd Medina, the Marketing Manager for the Partner Network, and with me is Guillaume Boisvert, our Product Manager for Performance Cloud.
Hi Maj, hi everybody. Very excited to be here.
It's a pleasure, Guillaume, and we're very happy to know everything about the Performance Cloud Servers. Of course, with IaaS, Gartner shows that it's the fastest moving cloud market at a compound annual growth rate of 41% to 2016. So, of course, we've been in the cloud for many years, and we are a hosted services provider for online backup, hosted exchange, and a lot of other services, and this is definitely a big step for our partner network. So through this presentation, we will go through the presentation. We will introduce SherWeb for our non-current existing partners, and we will also take the opportunity to quickly refresh the minds of everyone around our partner programs and benefits, and remind you of the different programs and tools that you can always benefit from to easily understand all of our products as well as resell them. Then afterwards, I will give the floor to Guillaume, and he will tell us all about the Performance Cloud Servers, their technical differentiators compared to the competition, how we position ourselves, and how you can easily sell it to your customers. And we will have a full demo into the environment. But before I start, I'd like to remind everyone that if you have any questions at any time, please state it down in the chat box, and we will make sure to always take the questions as we go or in the end of the presentation. Of course, also in the end of the presentation, we will have a raffle for our Apple TVs, and after the presentation, by tomorrow, we will be sending the recording of the webinar to all attendees. So once again, thank you very much for attending, and please keep the questions going. So to quickly talk about who is SherWeb, we are a company that were born in 1998. We were born in the cloud and only offer hosted services. So we offer hosted exchange, SharePoint link. We will pass quickly through our broad range of services, and we are 100% dedicated to hosted solutions. We have more than 4,000 partners around the world and 25,000 organizations in more than 100 countries. We were Microsoft's Worldwide Partner of the Year for 2013, and we were the finalists for the same title in 2014. So we have a very strong relationship with Microsoft, and almost all the solutions that we offer are Microsoft based. We have 3 data centers that are in North America, and we were the first provider to launch Exchange 2013 worldwide. Our infrastructure, of course, we can spend a lot of time to talk about the infrastructure and our data centers, but just to highlight our technical environment, I would say that we have multiple data centers that are all in North America. So we have 2 in Canada, and we are finalizing one in the United States that will be in Virginia by Q1 2015.
I'll jump in to make sure we stay accurate. We have 3 in Canada right now, and we already have 1 in the US, and we're finishing our second one in the US for next year.
That's with the Orxweb. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2 main data centers in Canada, 1 disaster recovery site, and we recently acquired Orxweb, which is an IaaS. This is why Guillaume definitely reminded me and had to tell me, is because our acquisition of Orxweb was a couple of months ago, and we now have a data center for infrastructure as a service using their environment. So our environment, of course, is fully redundant. We are a tier 3 plus data center, so the highest level of reliability and security. We're SOC 2 Type 2 certified, so that's of course a very important point to always bring out with the customers in order to understand the level of privacy and reliability and security that they will get when they use our services. We definitely have disaster recovery procedures, and all of our infrastructure is based on market-leading vendors' technologies. And as we stated, one of our most important features is that our data centers are all in North America, and you get to choose if you want your data to be in Canada or the US. And if you specify that your data doesn't go over the board to another country, we will definitely always respect that. So your customers have full control and knowledge that their data is always located in these countries. When we take a look at our services, we offer, of course, starting today, we offer to our partners cloud servers, and Guillaume will spend the majority of the time of the presentation to show you how we built the solution to compete with all the market-leading vendors out there on performance. And we also offer, of course, for many years now, hosted Exchange, SharePoint, and Link. So this is our suite of Microsoft communication and collaboration solutions. We also offer online backup and compliance services. So with SherWeb, of course, you have the ability to have all your essential cloud services managed under one roof. Of course, having that and controlling everything through our partner portal, you give your customer a boost of productivity and very high level of security through our 5 nines SLA and the location of the data centers and everything that we just discussed in the previous slide. And regarding the way that you can offer your solution, of course, you can always white label it with your own branding and offer it as your solution with your margins. We never have any restrictions on the cost that you want to bill your customer, because we understand that now it's all about the level of service that you bundle with the solutions that you offer through our side. So we give you the best margins in the industry, more than 40%. It can go up to more than 40% margin, very strong performance discounts, absolutely no user limits. You can mix and match all of our plans and bundles as you see fit. So yes, we do have different plans, but you can select standalone services as needed. And most importantly, everything is based on consumption basis. So your customers, they just pay, or you pay for what your customers use. And if you don't want to offer that level of flexibility to your customers, you can always create annual SKUs that are different to monthly SKUs. You can have cancellation fees that apply to them if they cancel services before the end of the year. You can really create your own rules, but you'll always know that with SherWeb, you only pay for what your customers have used within that month. Also, you have free trials and most importantly, free support and migration services from SherWeb. So whenever you have a new customer, we can onboard them free of charge, and we do the migration in the backstage, where you can of course bill your customers for this service, and you get 24/7 and all year round support through our VIP support technicians.
Yeah, just to sort of underline the migration when it comes to infrastructure as a service, what we've seen for our current customers and partners is that migration service that we offer for free is a huge deal and a huge differentiator with some of our competitors, where the fact that we we're very hands-on approach to migration is a big added value to all of our partners. And it really, the name of the game is getting the people on board, getting their infrastructure into SherWeb, and then they'll stay your customers forever. that migration makes a huge difference.
Perfect. Thank you, Guillaume. I see a quick question that I'd like to pass by from Jeffrey. How many plans are available? So the main plans are for our communication and collaboration bundles, so hosted exchange, SharePoint link, and online backup. We have 3 plans, but as I've said, you can always mix and match your own plans and create your own. So for the 3 communication and collaboration plans that we offer, we have one that is the email only plan that comes with unlimited mailbox for exchange and unlimited resource mailbox. We have another plan that has hosted exchange, it has a SharePoint website and online backup, and we have the business plan that simply has everything under one roof. So the plans are a mix and match of our SaaS services, but you can always attach your own SKUs and create your own bundle. So if you want to create an email/archiving plan, you can just put both of them together and offer them for the total cost. The cost is very aggressive compared to other market-leading vendors, and we can always have a one-on-one discussion to really drill down into the different products. So when we highlight the different programs that you can select from, with SherWeb we have 3 partner programs. The first is the white label, and for the white label model, basically it's your brand, so your customer never really knows that SherWeb exists. In that case, we give you all the tools that you need to fully rebrand your offering. We give you also marketing, sales, and technical collaterals that you can rebrand as your own in just minutes. And when it comes to support, we fully support you 24/7 and all year round, and we ask you to support your customers since your customer simply doesn't know that we exist. Regarding billing, it's always you that controls the relationship and controls the billing of the customer. So that's basically the overall an overview of the white label model. When it comes to the co-branded model, it's your brand as well as SherWeb's brand. So it's really a traditional reseller model where you resell SherWeb services. So you can use our suggested retail price. Of course, if you want to create your own bundles and increase that price, you can always do that, but you'll keep in mind that your customers know that this is a SherWeb solution. Regarding support, for that case, we can directly support you or the end customer since you've revealed your relationship with SherWeb, and it's for absolutely no cost. So if you like to, or if you profit from reselling different services and you don't really like to give a high level of support, you can always choose the co-branded model so that we can support your customer for you. Of course, in both the co-branded and the white label offering, you always get the migration and the customer onboarding from us for free. So as Guillaume stated, the migration service is both for the SaaS solutions as well as the infrastructure as a service. Also, for the co-branded model, it is always you that bills the end customer. Now, when it comes to the advisor program, and that's our referral program, it's simply for IT pros and consultants that just want to refer customers to SherWeb. So in that case, we do everything. We do the billing, we do the support, and we even present the solution to the customer and win the deal. But afterwards, you get 150% of the first month for monthly recurring revenue, and 7% monthly for the whole life of the customer. And of course, when it comes to selling hosted exchange and infrastructure as a service solutions, it's a very sticky product that will probably last for a very long time. So just to quickly highlight the value of partnering with SherWeb, number one, of course, it's the free migration service that you get. the dedicated partner account manager that is always there to make sure that your targets are met, and they even give you leads. So whenever we have marketing initiatives according to your geography, we believe in our partner network, and we definitely have a no compete promise. So we're there to support you grow your business whenever you need it. You can always reach out to your account managers and your support technical account managers by phone, email, and live chat. And of course, the whole team is always there to support you around the clock. Finally, before handing over to Guillaume and diving into our infrastructure as a service platform, I'd like to remind all of our partners of the Partner Toolbox, which is your location for finding all the different collaterals from sales to technical on all of our different products. I definitely recommend that you check it out after the webinar, because we have uploaded all the new cloud server collaterals. You can always go through the training tutorials to watch a quick video or a previously recorded webinar. One of the greatest things with SherWeb is the free one-on-one trainings that we give to all of our partners, and we always encourage you to use it. So at any point in time, if you want to train your whole team, or if you just have one new employee that you want to get ready with the SherWeb story, please reach out to your account manager or send an email to partner@sherweb.com, and we'd be happy to schedule a free one-on-one training for you. With that being said, I'd like to hand over the mic to Guillaume. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Maj. It's very interesting. One thing maybe to underline is everything that was said is a lot of information about our partner program. Well, we've been getting a lot of excitement from the people that have been testing our infrastructure as a service. A lot of people are very positive about the traction they're getting from their clients, or the opportunities that are now open to them because of the infrastructure as a service through SherWeb. So as well, okay, so what I'd like to do today is run through a couple of things. I will have to go quickly because this is only an hour, and we don't want to lose you, fall asleep during the afternoon or anything like that. So I may go quickly. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. Maj will answer as much as possible, or somebody from SherWeb will get on that question as soon as possible. Just a reminder, this presentation is recorded, so if you miss part of it, anything like that, you will receive an email over the next 24 hours sending you the link to the full presentation. With that being said, I'll get right into it. So let's start what I consider to be the start. What is the SherWeb Performance Cloud? So basically what it is self-managed infrastructure as a service. You may be asking yourself, what is infrastructure as a service? Good question. At its base, at its core, and the product that we're selling is really a core product, it is cloud servers, or virtual machine if you prefer, and virtual networking. Basically the ability to create and provision cloud servers or virtual machines, and to manage their networking aspects. Our product has all the advantages of a modern infrastructure as a service. What that means is, although on none of them do we reinvent the wheel, all those things together really make for a complete solution and something that you can work with. One of the main things is pay-as-you-go hourly billing. To be as simple as possible is basically that if you put up a server for 1 hour and then you turn it off, you will only be charged for that hour. There is no commitment, there is no payment up front. You sign up, you register as a partner, you start, when you get clients, you start using the infrastructure, and you will only pay for what you're actually using. That's the nice thing. That's it very much simplifies the experience. You don't have to do capacity planning. You don't have to guess what you'll be using in a year. Just put up what you have to use for tomorrow, what you have clients that are ready to pay for. And then as you grow, as your clientele grows, you can grow your infrastructure with SherWeb. One of the aspects that relates to that is the self-provisioning. A lot of providers that are saying that they offer infrastructure as a service still make you go either through a cart or contact them and things like that. We offer through self-provisioning. So basically, the day that you need a new server, be it for a test or a quick demonstration to a client, anything like that, if a client is ready to go ahead, you simply jump into our self-provisioning portal that I will be demonstrating in a few minutes, and you create that server and you install the software that you need, and you're ready to go. The day that you don't need it, you can just delete it and you won't pay for it anymore. Don't have to go through any kind of refund requests or anything like that. Another aspect that relates to that is the elasticity. So you have a client, they want to start small, they want to provision one CPU, 2 gig of RAM server. Turns out that they get a lot of success with their product, or you want to put more clients on that same machine. You don't have to change server. All you have to do is stop the server, change the configuration to something a little heavier, so 4 CPUs, 16 gigs of RAM, and you restart it. The whole process only took a couple of seconds. I won't talk about that too much. What I'll do instead is I'll show you in a few minutes with the demo. One thing to sort of make sure everybody gets clear, although SherWeb is very closely aligned with Microsoft, they're a great technology vendor. We love to use them as partners. Our SherWeb Performance Cloud works just as well as at providing Windows-based machines, so Windows Server, as it does with Linux. At this time, we offer a number of OSs, so Windows 2008, 2012, 2012 R2 are all available. We will, a bit of a sneak peek for this webinar, only the people on this webinar will know. We will be putting up the vNext version of Windows as a technology demo, accessible to our partners. So a little bit of an exclusive announcement for this webinar. That's going to be coming in the coming weeks, way before this server is available to all people. But we also offer Linux. So we have a couple of distributions that are readily available, CentOS, Ubuntu, that are two very popular ones. If you as a partner, you have a client that needs something custom, a different OS, please talk to us. And one of the point of pride of SherWeb is that we can make things happen for our partners. We'll go the extra mile. We'll make sure that you're satisfied and that you can win as many opportunities as possible. Last point that makes it a true infrastructure as a service experience is the API access. You can program most of the things that you'll see me do in the control panel. You could program to do automatically. You can integrate it with your own control panels or any kind of project that you have where you need automation. You can do it through the API access. So these things are great. These things are very important to understand. They're at the core of infrastructure as a service, but they don't necessarily make SherWeb stand out in front of other providers. We had to find a few reasons why people will come to us instead of anybody else, and I'll take a few minutes to cover those now. One of the main aspects, is the performance aspect. One thing that we heard from people that were already using infrastructure as a service as we built it was that although the flexibility is great, the self-provisioning, everything was really good, people really liked those aspects. What they weren't getting from their virtualized environments was performance. Either just the CPU performance or also a lot of trouble with the storage subsystem. This is something that over time our competitors have started to address, but they charge for it. I'll give you an example. One of our competitors is obviously Amazon. You can now get a lot faster drives, but they're very expensive. You have to pay per IOPS, so input-output operations. With the SherWeb Performance Cloud, we used the opportunity that we had because we were starting from scratch with our infrastructure as a service, and we built performance into the product from the ground up. That means we went with very fast CPUs from Intel, their enterprise CPU. Every piece of equipment that we use is enterprise. A lot of other providers, especially smaller providers, they use consumer grade equipments, consumer hard drive, consumer motherboards. They basically are telling you that it's okay if their infrastructure that you're on fails. We don't feel that way. Especially with our partners rely on us being up all the time because we need to be up for their clients. They're the one that get the angry support calls in the middle of the night from their clients. So SherWeb makes a promise that they will be there and they will be up. So I was talking about performance. So enterprise grade equipment from the ground up. That means, like I said, the best CPUs, very fast fabric. So we use Intel Band fabric. One point of emphasis is our cloud is 100% SSD. That means very, very fast disk access. high throughput. If you want to run things like a database server, very demanding database server, big data analytics, if you want to do encryption, video encoding, things like that, these servers will really, really stand out. What we wanted to build is something where the performance was accessible to everybody. So even if you build a very small server, 1 CPU, 4 gig RAM, something like that, you still get as much performance as possible from those resources. The idea is most public cloud platform will ask you to scale to giant servers or a ton of server. We wanted our performance to be accessible to just about everybody. So you have a client, you have one server, that server will perform very well. Brand name products that we use Dell as partner. Like I said, we use Microsoft. We use Cisco on the routing equipment. All those things really make for an overall package that is fast and reliable. Very fast component, even if the task that you have to put on it doesn't demand as much performance, basically allows you to get less. What I'm saying, which may be a little bit surprising as a vendor, is get fewer servers with SherWeb. Buy as little as possible. What we really want to provide you is value. And when you get value, we know that you'll be satisfied partners and that you'll stick around and you'll use us for as many opportunities as possible. On top of performance, we offer customer service. We have 24/7, Mash touched on it, I'll go quickly. So we have 24/7, 365 days a year, phone, chat, and email support for all clients. That means you don't need to have a service contract or anything like that to get that support. Everybody gets it. You also get accessibility to our solution architect. So your client has a project, you know that cloud is the future, cloud is what you should be pushing, but you're not sure exactly how you should structure it or anything like that. Basically, we're there for you. Set up a call, either between us and you, or between us and your client. We'll be there, we'll sit down, we'll show a number of suggestions of things that could be done. We'll help you build a plan for that partner, for that client. And they will basically see the value in you as a partner to guide them through that process. We touched on it, onboarding migration specialists. We have made a number of migrations from people between either physical environments to the cloud or between other cloud providers and our SherWeb Performance Cloud. Sorry. In both cases, we will work with you all the way through the process to make sure that it is as quick as possible and it has as little impact on the client environment as possible, which are two very important points for every of those projects that we've done. It says here, frame migration in most cases. I would say in just about all cases. The parentheses is there because of our lawyers. They want us to protect ourselves a little bit. But I would say if you have any migration project or any project that includes migration, come sit down with us. Let's talk. I'm sure we can work something else where we can include the migration into our normal pricing. Mash touched on it. You work with SherWeb. You work with somebody that's been doing hosting for 16 years. Longer than most providers out there. Last year in 2013, we were the hosting partner of the year from Microsoft, which shows a little bit of what we can do. What's even more impressive, I think, is that in 2014, this year, we were finalists again for hosting partner of the year from Microsoft, and this time it's for our infrastructure as a service product. We've also are now part of the CloudOS partner network from Microsoft, which basically recognize that we are technical and solution experts for everything to do with infrastructure as a service.
Guillaume, before you continue, I'd like to state something. I'm sorry, I forgot to remind the partners that with SherWeb, of course, we have performance tier discounts. The more you sell, the more you get a bigger discount. And this was built for our hosted exchange solutions, which are, of course, for a much less lower and smaller cost than our performance cloud servers. But we decided to include performance cloud servers in the exact same tier discounts that we always offer. So of course, by selling performance cloud servers, you can easily boost yourself up to higher tiers and get more discounts as you go. So I just like to remind our partners that they're both now the same drivers of the exact same performance tier discount calculations.
Okay, I'll answer a couple of technical questions that I see here. Do we use VMware or Hyper-V? So the SherWeb Performance Cloud is Hyper-V based. Good question. Also, I have a question: do you use virtual routers? Obviously, our infrastructure uses physical routers, but we do give access to all the virtual networking to our clients, to our partners, so that you can manage it on your end. I will get into it a little bit more in the technical demo, which is coming up real soon. I didn't want to put a lot of them, but I put a couple of our benchmarks, like industry standard benchmark that we did for us between comparing us to our competitors. This is, for example, RAM, test of RAM. So we are significantly faster than everybody else, both for integer and floating point. This is CPU specific, which is a nice demonstration. As you can see, if you use our cost calculator, you will see that our pricing is very similar to both Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services. I'll compare us to Amazon Web Services because it gives me a very nice example here. For about the same price, things will happen twice as fast. For people that have to wait for processing, I'll give you an example. If you have a developer in-house, they're working on a project that you have, they're coding. Anybody that has done some code, myself included, know that waiting for compilation is a big part of just about every project. So using our fast SSD or fast CPU, you could cut that time in just about in half. That means half the time wasted waiting for compilation. Other thing that use CPU heavily, things like encryption or video encoding would happen a lot faster. This is a bit of a practical example of the compilation I was talking about. Apache is a web server. It's a public open source software. This is a test where basically they industry standard. So you use your machine. So for example, I use my SherWeb virtual machine to compile the Apache project. It takes 62 seconds. If I use Amazon Web Services machine, it takes 99 seconds. That's a huge difference in practice in your everyday life. I know that people love to do benchmarks, and a lot of people love to question them. The methodology for those benchmarks is available on our website, and you can always contact us, and we will send you the exact version of every software, the exact configuration of every machine. We always try to use as similar machine with our competitors as possible. And in any of the cases of our competitors where they offer what they call performance machines, we use the performance machine for the test. So for example, I know that the Amazon test is done on a C3 instance, which is a compute optimized instance. And even with their compute optimized instance, they're still 50% slower than SherWeb. All right. So all of this is nice, very theoretical. I will spend a few minutes to show you what you can do with the Performance Cloud. So just give me a second to share my control panel. Okay. All right. So this is where you would end up once you are a SherWeb partner and you have provisioned the infrastructure as a service, the Performance Cloud. And this is where you would log in to get access to our technical control panel. If you are already in our Cumulus control panel, which is the name of our partner control panel, you can one click and then a single sign-on will take you inside. Okay, so this is basically the environment as you would see it. I've already built one demo machine, one demo network. I will still go through the process. I just wanted to make sure that we had those ready. So let's start with building a new server. If people that are on this webinar are used to working with physical servers, it may be a bit of a shock to see how you provision virtual servers. So you may recognize a little bit the interface. We try to use as simple an interface, something that's a bit familiar with clients. So if I go new to create something and I go standalone virtual machine and I just do quick create because I want to go quickly, and I give it a name. I will, if I'm a partner, I may be managing a number of companies from this same interface. So that's something to touch on for sure. If you are a partner and you have a number of organizations that you're managing the infrastructure for, you can all do it from a single login, from a single pane of glass. So for example, if I'm creating a new machine from one of my clients, I just have to pick it from a list here. So for example, I will create one for SherWeb. they use a lot of infrastructure. Okay, so I have a number of templates that are readily available. So you can see I have CentOS, I have Ubuntu, a couple of versions, and I have 3 versions of Windows. So for example, I will create here a Windows 2012 R2 data center server. One thing to mention, the price of the OS is included in all of our prices. The reason that we're giving you the data center version is because basically it doesn't make any difference for us, and we want to make sure that you can do as much as possible with our infrastructure. So pick a password, and that's it. So as you saw, and even while I was explaining what I was doing, it took what, 2.5 minutes to create a new server from scratch. Nice thing with the control panel is it is asynchronous, which means that while the server is creating, and you can see it at the bottom here, there's a bit of a green progress bar, I can do other things. So one of the other things that I want to do right now is create a virtual network so that I'm able to connect my machine to the internet. One thing of note on that is if you don't connect your machine to the internet, it is what I would call nowhere. Basically, it is super secure. It cannot be accessed from the outside until you hook it up to a network and you make it accessible. We went with a very safe initial configuration, and we'd rather our partners put their machine on the internet as they need it, rather than the other way around, which is basically put everything on the internet and then you have to secure it. It is much better practice to put it safe first, and then you can open what you need to open. And it's one of the things that we'll see today. As my machine is being created, which should take about 5 minutes, I will create a virtual network. So basically it's the same operation. I go new, I go virtual network. I'll go custom create so that you can see the process. Give it a name. Same deal, I have to put it on a specific subscription because those networks are segregated per client. So if you have a number of organizations for whom you manage the infrastructure, they are on separate virtual network, which means they have complete isolation between each of them. I have to set a DNS address. I will borrow Google's public DNS. To give access to the internet to my virtual network, I use NAT. I could configure a site-to-site VPN. This is also done directly through our control panel. It doesn't require us to contact us or anything like that, as long as you have a device on the other end. So this is a very good case. I'll take 2 seconds to talk about that a little bit. A lot of our clients, a lot of our partner clients, what they do is they'll take what I like to call a closet server. So the client has a server that they have on premise, and that server is getting a little old. You can hear the fan making weird noise and things like that. So what they'll do, instead of replacing that server and spending a lot of money on new equipment and still being exposed to failure and things like that, they will take that server and they will send it to SherWeb Performance Cloud. And what they'll do is they'll do a VPN site-to-site connection between the local area network of the client and their Performance Cloud. It's very easy. We're compatible with most devices. We can also connect directly to Windows Server. You can use Windows Server to do the bridge between the 2 points. Keep moving. I can pick, as it is all virtualized network, I can pick my local IP address range. Each of those bubbles, the virtual networks, are completely isolated, which means I can reuse the same IP space for each and every client without creating any conflict. So for example, if I wanted to add a second address and I used a very common 192.168.0.1, it doesn't matter that SherWeb has 100 clients using that particular range, it will still work just fine. So as we can see, the virtual machine has completed its creation. We can see here at the bottom the confirmation, and now the virtual network is being created. So I will go back to the machine that I created, webinar demo. There are 2 panels really that you will be using to manage your servers. The first one is the dashboard, so it's really the informational panel. In real time, you can see CPU usage, memory usage, storage I/O, and network I/O, all displayed here, and you can watch per hour, per day, or per month. Obviously, this machine is brand new, so there isn't a whole lot to see here. You can see the configuration that was given, and when you create the server initially, we'll just take the default of the template. So in this case, 1 CPU, 1 gig of RAM, 40 gig of storage, and obviously it's one virtual machine. Those numbers are shown against your total quota for the account. Just to be clear, this is really pay as you go. So we can see that I'm using 2 CPUs total for this account. So both my demo machine are 1 CPU, which is 25% of my total of 8 cores. If this is what I run, this is what I will be charged for. I'll be charged for 2 CPUs. The 8 core is only the limit, the quotas on the account. If you need more CPUs, which happens to a lot of people, you just have to contact your account rep at SherWeb, and we'll have that change. We'll have that increase. We have to set a maximum because as people come on, we got to establish a relationship before we get to completely unlock and they can use all the resources that they want. Those maximums are still pretty interesting. They'll let you get started. You just have to talk to your partner to get more. Quick glance here will give you a status. So it is running. There is no current IP address because I did not put this machine on the internet just yet. Windows 12 server, 1 CPU, 1 gig of RAM, the subscription that I'm using. And you can see the attached device, which in this case is simply the OS disk. The other panel that you can use is the configure panel. So if you want to change configuration, you have to shut down the machine, which only takes a few seconds. And then you can go and change configuration. For example, obviously the most obvious change in configuration is the exact setting. So for example, right now it's a 1 CPU, 1 gig RAM machine. I think we all know for 2012 R2, although that works, it may not be the ideal configuration. So I'll change to 2 CPU and 8 gigs of RAM. I simply select it from the list. I click save here at the bottom. And a few seconds later, it will be a completely new machine that is, well, not a completely new machine, but a completely new configuration, which is 2 CPU, 8 gigs of RAMs. We can also see here that my shutdown was done, the configuration was changed. As you can see, it all goes very quickly. Other thing that I can do as far as changing configuration is you see my device here, it's the storage. I can expand it. So right now it is 40 gig of storage. I simply click expand. I enter a new value, let's say 100 gigs. And away we go. So for anybody that has dealt with a lot of physical server recently, you may think this is all a very, very good idea. So now here you go, it's done. My storage is now 100 gigs on my primary drive, which is nice. What if I want to add another drive? I simply go attach at the bottom, click disk, give it a name, so second drive. Pick one of our blank templates and click OK, and away we go. That's it. It will create a new drive and attach it to this machine. The last thing that I maybe do with this, again, I took the 10 gig template. If I wanted to change the size, I just click here and select whatever size I need. The last thing that I want to do with this machine is attach it to a network. Here. So the network that I see my other network, I see the network that I created for this test. I simply click OK, and it will assign this machine to that network, and that machine will now have internet connection. You can do, I can't get into very deep detail. I can't do a deep dive here in this demonstration, but you could do very complex networking scenarios with these tools, with these configurations. And this is it. So now that I've changed all those configuration drives and everything, I just restart the machine. And now my machine will be up and running. So obviously you haven't seen a server yet. All you've seen is a control panel that says that there is a server. So what we'll do now is connect to the machine. So I simply hit the connect button here, click console, and this will create a RDP file that will allow me to connect to this specific machine. Although it is an RDP file, which is more of a Windows process, it is available also for Linux. So as you can see, this is the server that we created 5 minutes ago. Here you go. So this is the initial login. And what you are now seeing is the server that took all of, I don't know, 10 minutes to set up and configure and everything. I am now ready to, in the case of a Windows server like this one, I'm ready to give it a role and start doing tasks for my clients, and obviously charge them for this server.
Guillaume, will we be talking about backup?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have this request from Neil.
It's a good question. Couple of things. One thing, as I stop this remote connection. Okay. So 2 things about backups. One, I want to mention that all the infrastructure is redundant, all of its storage, everything. Even if we suffer hardware failure, because hardware failure will always happen once in a while, you as a client, as a user of the SherWeb Performance Cloud, will not notice this hardware failure. If you are on a host that has a problem, you will be automatically moved to a healthy host. Same thing for storage. We have redundant controllers. We have RAID set up, so if you lose drives, you wouldn't even notice it. This doesn't cover backups. So specifically for backups, they are currently offered on our virtual machines. You can pick whatever schedule that you like. So let's say daily backups with 7 days retention, or weekly backups with 90 days retention, things like that. It is all offered. What is coming soon for partners, and that will not be part of this demo, is self-service backups. We have built a plugin for our control panel. It is in its final testing phases. As soon as it's available, these backups, instead of getting them through your account rep, you can get them automatically just as easy as I provision this servers. So backups are available today, whatever schedule you'd like, whatever retention you'd like, and they will be self-service backups to both set them and restore them to a virtual machine I'd say before the end of the month.
All right. Another technical question is over here. If you have a 100 gigabyte drive with 30 gigabytes used, so you actually pay for the 30 gigs or the 100 gigs?
Right. So we measure what you assign to machines that are turned on. So in this case, it would be 100 gigs.
100 gigs. Perfect. All right. Regarding the licensing, the server OS license is included, but what about the user CALs?
Right. So it all depends what you want to do with the machine. Like you said, the OS is included. If you want to use it as a terminal service or SQL server, things like that, you have to pay for additional licenses for those particular services. You can get them from SherWeb, or you can bring your own. Both cases work just fine. We will offer you per month licenses. So in our case, they're not CALs, they're service, they're SALs, but yeah, same difference. So you can get them from SherWeb, or if you have your own, or your client has their own and you want to transfer them, if they have license mobility, yeah, there is no problem at all. They can get that on the Performance Cloud.
Perfect. Another technical question. Can you take snapshots of the virtual machine, say for example, before an OS patch?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now it is not exposed through the graphical interface, but it is possible through the API. So a lot of people that are interested by snapshots are a bit more technical, so the API shouldn't be too much of a constraint. It will be available through the graphical interface in the next version.
Perfect. All right, I guess we can get back to the deck.
I'm actually, all the way through the demo. I'd like to make it more complicated, but it's really that's all there is to it. I just created a network, a server, configured the two to work together, and I access my new server. It took all of 15 minutes.
Oh, here's a quick question by the time you get back. Do we have PowerShell access to the Exchange server? So I believe that's PowerShell access would be available if they have their own servers like IaaS.
Right. So if the question is about our software as a service offering of Exchange, you do not have PowerShell access to the server, as they are. It's a multi-tenant environment. Yeah. Obviously, they're very secure, and you absolutely do not have access. But that's where infrastructure as a service might be a nice solution. If you have some custom needs, all you have to do is put up a infrastructure as a service box, so a cloud server or virtual machine, and you can put Exchange on it, and then do whatever you need to do.
Exactly.
If you have a project like that, I would recommend calling us, and we'll set up a call between you and us. Any question about Exchange, we definitely have experts that can answer any question. That's no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, and we see that a lot, for example, with SharePoint, because our multi-tenant offering is just the SharePoint site. So for customers that just want SharePoint out of the box without developing or connecting with their line of business applications, so the building their SharePoint on the cloud server so that they can have absolute full control over the environments is would be the best solution for these customers. But if customers just want to use email or SharePoint out of the box as it is, without having any control of like any root access on the servers, then the SaaS offering is the simple, easy solution.
I see a couple of more questions that I'll take. Is AV available, or do we supply our own? So right now, out of the box, AV is not supplied. We're working on it. It'll be coming in upcoming versions. I know I've said that a couple of times. We really wanted to have this product out to our partners because there was a lot of demand and wanted to make sure that they could get access to it as soon as possible. The other thing that we want to do for this product is have a lot of upgrades, a lot of updates, basically introducing new features as they become available as soon as possible. And there is a number of things that are coming. One of them is the access to AV. We also have databases as a service that is coming, a lot of DR solutions that are coming. The backups that I talked about is the next thing that's coming in just a few weeks. So stay tuned. If you like the product, if you like the partner program especially, a lot more value-added items will be coming out all the time. We will also release application templates for our infrastructure as a service. So if you want to install a certain number of specific software, you can do it just a couple of clicks, and then you'll have the software all installed and ready to go. There's a number of things that are coming. Other question that I see is, do we have PCI compliance? So Pci Dss, for people that don't know, is the credit card association compliance to allow you to process credit card transaction. Our setup itself, or SherWeb itself, does not sort of guarantee PCI compliance, but we have a number of clients that we've helped become PCI compliant. So we have PCI compliant environments. This is a sort of a case-by-case thing where you'll have to contact us and we'll work with you on a PCI compliant environment. But we can do it at SherWeb. Yep. How many VM can be hosted on your servers? It's a tough question. The marketing answer is an infinite amount. Basically, you as a partner, as a client, should never run into a lack of capacity. We work very hard on our end to always have the necessary capacity to take any project, any new client, any peak or valley in demand. You shouldn't feel it. You shouldn't see anything. Okay, I'll go through a couple of other slides. The subject of this, Maj, maybe you can help me with this. We have a lot of questions. This is awesome. This is amazing.
Absolutely.
Can we make sure that we take down all those questions and answer to people one by one to make sure that they get their answers?
Yes, absolutely. I can definitely see that there are some questions that are not answered, and we're kind of running out of time. So we will definitely get back to you with an answer. I will save all the questions right now, and of course the recording of the webinar will be sent out to everyone. So please feel free to reply at any time and schedule a one-on-one meeting with ourselves, and we'd be happy to answer all of your questions if you have more.
This is an awesome group, really. I mean, I love these participants. These questions are terrific. They're very smart questions. You guys know what you're talking about. I'll take one more that's there. Are the VMs or virtual machine fully hardened and made secure when they're launched? And who is responsible for that? It's a good question. We took the approach that we make them as secure as possible. Basically, they are simply not on the internet as they are launched. So there is no way for people to quickly hack them or take control of them. I sort of ran out of time on my demonstration, but you have to go into your virtual network and open specific ports for your machine to become available from the internet. At the end of the day, you are responsible for the software and the configuration of the machine itself. We have applied the best practices to both Windows, which means the firewalls enabled and things like that, and also to Linux, where we closed down services that weren't needed. So it is hardened to a point, But at the end of the day, these are your virtual machines and you're responsible. It's a double-edged sword, meaning that they have a lot of flexibility. You can do just about anything with those servers, but they are also your responsibility. They are behind our firewall. We have IPS, IDS in front of them. Yeah, so that's one of the questions that was just asked. Good question. We do have a firewall /IPS/IDS in front of all of our traffic. That is as much to protect us as it is to protect our partners, but yes, absolutely. Yeah, so if anybody has any question and they're already partners, you can always talk to your associate from SherWeb. I will talk to, whoa, time really flew on this webinar.
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe you guys can look at the deck when you get it tomorrow. I will 2 seconds to say what those last 2 slides are. We wanted the webinar is called How to Sell This Product. So we wanted to give you a few scenarios where clients may come to you with a need where the SherWeb Performance Cloud is the right answer. Quickly, I'll go through the scenarios. I won't go through all the answers, but the answers are all there. So for example, something that we see often that I mentioned before is the aging server needing a refresh is a case that happens all the time. Especially, just to remind you, end of life of Windows 2003 is coming in July. That is a huge opportunity for you as partners. If you are not getting people off of Windows 2003, you are missing out on some serious money. SherWeb can help you devise a strategy, decide how you're going to approach your market, but that's something that you should be doing. One thing that we also see often is the IT department of a company having trouble reacting quickly enough to business function needs. So some guy in marketing wants a new CRM, wants to test it, and the IT guy just doesn't want to go buy a server. It will take forever. Give them access to virtualized infrastructure, and that problem is solved in a matter of minutes. And it becomes just a simple expense instead of being a capital expenditure. So it's operating expense versus capital expenditure. If you talk to slightly larger businesses, that will have a huge impact. So need to purchase new hardware. They don't want to do capacity planning. They require more agility. Some more technical one is they have big ideas. Their growth is hindered by the need for capital. They can be struggling with slow provisioning, and I talk about OPEX and CAPEX. So all these people, technical people, the business people, have different concerns. All those concerns we've answered here. One of the answers, so I'm jumping around a little bit, but I want to cover as much as possible. We have a cost calculator. I talked about pay-as-you-go model, which is basically what you use is what you pay for. That will scare some people. People are a little bit uncertain with the cost. Use our cost calculator to either for you to figure out pricing or to show your client exactly how much it will cost at the end of the month. In both cases, the benefit of flexibility should outweigh the need for certainty on that price. And using our tools, you can make that price very solid, very certain. Maj, I will pass it back to you for your giveaway. I think people are curious to see who will win.
Well, I just randomly close my eyes, move my finger around the participant, and I see that Neil Jones is the winner. So Neil, we will be contacting you to send you the Apple TV. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating with us. Once again, for all current partners, please contact your partner associate to really help you deep dive in the onboarding and make sure you have everything you need both on the sales and technical side to get started and sell cloud servers. And also for non-existing partners, thank you very much for joining our webinar. Of course, becoming a partner is as easy as creating a Hotmail account. I may say all you need to do is go to sherweb.com, go to the partner section, create an account, and you'll have full access to test drive all the services that we offer. You'll have receive our partner price list, and you will have full control over our Cumulus partner portal, where you can test out all the products and get to chat with your dedicated account manager. And we look forward to serving you, and it's always a pleasure. So please reach out to us at any time at partner@sherweb.com. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you, Guillaume, for your time.
Hey, thanks, man. It was a pleasure. This was a great run.